Hey guys, Henry here, and today I'm going to be talking about Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials. So Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials is a second installment of the Maze Runner franchise, and it picks up where the first movie left off, where the kids have just gotten out of the maze and have entered into this new, unfamiliar world. It's in an apocalyptic setting, it's got zombies lurking around, buildings toppled over, it's basically now a desert, or what they call the Scorch. This movie was a bit of a hit and a miss for me. I personally quite enjoyed the first Maze Runner film. The mystery behind the maze, who put them in the maze, why they were in the maze, really captivated me, and the fact that they kept learning more and more about it and progressed through that mystery made it more captivating and interesting for me to follow. The Scorch Trials takes them out of that mystery into the real world, which I'm not even sure is the real world. I haven't read the books or anything, but it's still so shrouded in mystery and confusion. The kids don't know who they can trust, and they can only trust each other. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and this concept is exactly the same concept as The Walking Dead. They've reached an apocalyptic setting, and now everyone's fending for themselves and they don't know who they can trust. It works for The Walking Dead, but in this movie, the story has been pigeonholed into this I can't trust anyone scenario to the point where it just gets really boring. I feel like there was a big focus on keeping everything mysterious, still shrouded in mystery, and it keeps the audience in the dark way too much. The audience needs a bit more information to go on so that we are intrigued to find out more information. The fact that we don't get any information, we only get these random snippets that really don't mean anything to us, just makes us lose that interest and intrigue. Another thing I found lacking in the Scorch Trials was the use of tension. Now don't get me wrong, there was heaps and heaps and heaps, like heaps of tense moments in this movie, but they were not executed very well, and it did end up feeling a bit like a tacky horror movie jump scare. I'll give you a really good example of a really great tension moment in a film. Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. The first scene where that Jew hunter is grilling this man about whether he's holding any Jews in his house, that moment was so tense. My heart was pounding so hard for fear that he'd find out. But like in this movie, that was just completely absent. They didn't have those characters, the rapport and the dialogue creating a tense moment. What they did was basically put everything in darkness, shuffles in the background, silence, torches, sudden sounds, sudden turning in camera and seeing a face in front of you. Like, that stuff is all really cheap scare tactics, and I don't really like that in this movie. But yeah, I guess if you do like getting scared, it does scare the bejeebies out of you a little bit, if you're into that. But I don't feel like this movie was meant to go down that path at all. The characters in this film were also very thin. This is partly due to suspect acting, but it's mainly due to the writing. Truth be told, there was not much character building other than the main characters, and when the other characters were talking, you could feel it was deliberate to try and build their characters, but it missed. It didn't do a very good job of that. I think a lot of character building comes down to subtlety, little actions that they do, which these actors didn't do, and they couldn't build those characters based off of those things. They just tried to build the characters purely off the dialogue, and that failed. Other than the main character Thomas, I didn't really care for any of the other characters. I didn't really know their names, to be honest. The only character I really cared about was Minho. So yeah, this is a dystopic film. People are gonna die. People have to get picked off because that's how the movie makes you cry, makes you feel the pain that these kids go through. And yes, people die. It's not a spoiler. People die, but I don't care because I don't know their names. I don't know their name. And they want me to feel something for this guy that's died. Like, I don't know your name, I don't know your past, I don't know anything about you. Why do I care if you live or die? The movie lacks a lot of depth in the characters, and that is a big shortcoming. However, this movie did have pretty good visuals and some pretty good action, and there was a pretty good performance by Aidan Gillen, the guy from Game of Thrones, Littlefinger. What's funny about this movie is also it's rated PG-13. Parents, if you're watching this review, I do warn you, do not bring your little kids to watch this movie. The jump scares and zombies will probably scare the shit out of your kids. Overall, Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials was a fairly big drop off from the first film, The Maze Runner, and it is just another one of those young adult dystopian films, just like Divergent, just like Hunger Games, and it had potential in the first film, but after seeing the second film, I've lost interest and intrigue in this franchise. This movie clearly is a wedge, or a transition I could say, between the first and obviously the final installment, and I really don't like that. I've talked about this before, and I've said that movies need to be able to stand substantially on their own. Marvel movies have done it pretty well, but having a sequel like this that has no real offering but to set up the third movie, just... it shouldn't be like that. I feel like I'm being scammed because I know they want to make money by making more movies, so they make movies with less content in order to stretch out a series and make as much cash as they can. This movie didn't really have a beginning. I guess the beginning was the maze, and it didn't really have an end. I guess we're gonna have to wait for the next movie to really get the conclusion of this movie itself. And a movie shouldn't be like that. There should be a beginning, middle, and end, and this movie was just all middle, all filler. I think that a bunch of people will go and see this movie because they enjoyed the first movie, but you probably will come out a bit disappointed. I would say Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials was meh, and you'll probably forget about it within 24 hours. Thanks guys for watching this review. If you liked it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, and be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more reviews by me. I also have another channel called Clowd TV where I create sketches, travel videos, and skits, so be sure to check that out as well. If you've seen Maze Runner, Scorch Trials, or the Maze Runner and have any thoughts, please comment down below and we can start a discussion, and I'll see you guys next time.